Welcome back, everybody, to No Capes, the show where we talk about creator-owned comics with creators who own comics. With me today is the amazing Damien Becton. Damien, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hey there, I'm Damien Becton. I'm the 2021, one of the 2021 Mad Cave Studios Talent Search winners. I have a book coming out with them. Also, I'm the writer of my own self-published comic coming out pretty soon. Hopefully, I'll send them out in the next month or so, Worlds Away.
I'm very excited for that. I was one of the Kickstarters on like day one or two, so I'm
I
very keen.
appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I have to check out your Mad Cave book as well. What was that one? I can't remember if I've already seen it or not.
I don't think it's been announced yet.
Okay, in that case, I haven't.
So I don't think it's been announced. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it,
Okay, well, as
but
soon as you can, let me know because I'll be keen to pick that up as well.
I'm pretty sure it's coming out next year, though, 2023. Hopefully,
Yeah,
cross your fingers for me. 2023, you'll put it on your pull list. I'm not
yeah.
sure if it's going to be. So
That'll be really exciting. I'm keen to see it. Like if everything I've seen from Worlds Away is any indicator, it's going to be a stellar book. So,
I appreciate that, my friend.
all right. And today, what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about We Live from Aftershock Comics and the Miranda Brothers. Very, very dope comic book.
Yeah, it is, and there's currently the ongoing sequel,
Mm.
Age of the Palladians, as well. So, we're not going to get into Age of the Palladians yet because it's ongoing, and I believe that Damien hasn't read that one yet.
I've not read it. Not yet. Not yet. Keyword yet.
Yeah,
But
so
the,
we're going to talk about We Live, the first series. And in a few minutes, I'll warn you guys about spoiler territory. But for now, give us a quick breakdown of what We Live is.
Yeah, in a very, very brief nutshell, We Live. Again, it's written by the Miranda brothers and drawn by the Miranda brothers. Aftershock Comics. But in a nutshell, it's this post-apocalyptic world. The world is ending, or it seems like the world is ending, and everyone, to save humanity, the humans chose to send their children on a spaceship. And this story is about the journey of a brother and a sister, on their way to that spaceship to save humanity. And along the way, they encounter various deadly, treacherous obstacles, monsters, people, and all these different things. And it's very exciting. It's well drawn. It's well paced, and it's just a great story.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's a gorgeous book, and I just yeah, there's a lot to be said about every aspect of this book, and we're gonna say it all very soon. Excellent. So yeah, this book is set in like a it's not quite post-apocalyptic yet. It's like impending apocalyptic,
Right.
but it
And
is really weird already.
it's extremely weird. And that's one of the things that I guess got me into it. You can tell by actually the cover. The cover is like very video game like. It's just the brother and the sister looking off into the distance of this crazy looking world. But you will see right off the bat that this world is dangerous. There's these very crazy looking monsters and so on and so forth. It starts off with like a little, oh, it's not an infomercial. It starts off with like um, I don't know, I'll just call it a commercial, just telling, like, informing the reader of what's going on, what's humanity's plan of saving humanity and getting these children on the spaceship, to and just right off the bat, that it's going to be a tough task for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like the apocalypse is impending, but at the same time in this world already is, all this stuff with the weird animals.
They're like sci-fi. I don't know. It's really tough to describe them. Some of them are like alien gorillas. Some of them are
Yeah,
like
it's never fully, I don't, from memory, it hasn't been fully explained what caused it. Like in this PSA, there is
Uh-huh.
that line there, like we survived the hostile mutation in the year 2050.
Okay, then
And that
I'm
must be
thinking,
what changed the animals, but we
yeah,
don't know what that
that's what I
was or
was thinking.
why.
I remember thinking that my initial reading was that um, I think it's some commentary on our world today as well. You know how we're climate change and all these things. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, they don't beat it to death. It's
Yeah,
just kind of a subtle thing. But I think that's what they were going for. You know, if we stay on this path that we're on, then this is the kind of world that we're leading to, and with these
yeah, that's
dangerous
exactly it.
animals.
If we keep creating or keep going on this path, creating a hostile environment, then
Mhm.
nature's going to have to get hostile to survive it.
Absolutely, yeah. And they did a great job. Oh my gosh, like one of my favorite things is just the art.
Yeah,
It's so that's one of the things too. It's a dark. They deals with some dark themes, but it for the most part, it's very bright colored as well. It's very very bright. Even like the main cover, you can see how green it is, and but it's great. It's a good looking book as well. One of the things that I did bite, I am gonna talk about is the music with it is a very very cool thing that they did that I snuck into my own book. On the very first page, spoilers, I guess, for the first page of issue number one, is that there's a QR code in there, and if you
didn't even notice that until
oh
you
really
literally just said it. But that's ADHD for you.
if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to a YouTube link, and it will take you to a YouTube video, and it'll play the theme music for whatever that scene is. So that very first page of the old man smoking a cigarette, it's really cool, and I think they do that for every issue. So if you subscribe to them on, I do not work for Aftershock. I do not work for the Miranda Brothers, but if you subscribe to that We Live YouTube channel, I think there is a at least one song for every issue. So the first one in issue one, the very first page is White Whale, and it's like the music. I think they make the music as well. I think one of
Yeah.
the Miranda brothers make music as well. So it's really cool. It's one of the things that kept me coming back to it.
El Breviento and Mario Lorente.
Those are the ones who made the music.
Yeah, that's what it says in the little QR code inside the cover.
Okay, but yeah, that's one of the thing. That's the thing that I thought was it was so clever and so interesting that I've never seen it quite done like that before in comics. Just having I've seen comics that had a like theme music to it or a playlist to it, but to have that QR code in there to
Yeah,
actually
that's really
take you to
cool.
the specific song, yeah, it absolutely was.
That was something I really liked about the Inevitables that
The
came out.
inevitable.
It was a Kickstarter by it's written like by a few musicians and stuff that I know that, but it's written like by these characters. Honestly, I'm forgetting a lot because I'm really bad at reading my Kickstarter books. I've listened to the album
uh,
backwards and forwards so many times.
is
But
that good?
because I keep having to buy digital, I forget to read my Kickstarter books
Yeah, that
for
makes sense though.
so long. But it's a really cool comic set around a bunch of weird sort of characters, including one that's called Florida Man. Um, but it's set in sort of a really like 90s, early 2000s punk and pop punk ska
um,
inspired world. And the writer, um, well, one of the writers, I think it was co-written by both of these guys. One of the writers is Vinny from Less Than Jake,
Oh, okay, yeah, I know
and
that.
the other is John O'Dina from
You have to send me this link because I've never heard of this. I
yeah,
didn't know this existed.
yeah, they did. Yeah, John O'Dina from Rootless Coffee and the comics that he's done and everything. Um, got together and they wrote this comic, but they also put together a band called the Inevitables.
So it's a band based on the comic that they created.
Yeah, and they created a soundtrack for the comic as this band. And this
That is
band is made up of fucking punk ska superstars.
How come I've never even heard of this? This
It
is
it was only
incredible.
it was only last year. The maybe I think it came out like hit backers early last year, but I think it
Okay.
was on Kickstarter mid to late 2020.
That's literally the first thing. Once we get off this call, that's literally the first thing I'm gonna do is just
It
look this.
is
Look this
so
up.
good. The album is so good. It's got people from like Less Than Jake, The Interrupters, Big D and the Kids Table,
Interesting.
and
I didn't know this existed. That's crazy.
it's incredible. And they even did like a full vinyl of the album.
Was that part of the Kickstarter as well,
Yeah,
or is that?
that's what
Okay.
I originally backed for, and then I'm like,
Their
okay,
goal must
no,
have been like
change jobs now. Let's bring that down a little bit because
their goal must
after
have been like a
uh,
few thousand if they're.
it did really well. After the exchange rate, I think it was almost $200 for that tier for me.
Hey, that's
So
not a bad deal though.
plus shipping. So then I was like,
That's not a bad deal though, man.
yeah, it would have been worth it if I could have
Yeah,
justified it. It was very cool.
that is
But
that's sounds incredible.
yeah,
I'm
and
sure
Liana
what
Kangas did the art.
who's that?
Liana Kangas.
Oh, from she has the book. I think she has a book coming out this week, doesn't she?
Yeah, got quite a few things going on. Most
With
recently, is
IDW.
doing some of the covers for End After End.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, was
That looks. Oh my gosh, we're not talking about we're not talking about We Live right now, but End After End looks so good.
It
It's
is.
oh, you read it? See,
I've
I
read.
got Sunando C. Like I saw the cover of End After End. I think cover one, the green cover with the I don't know what it is, the guy with the yellow shading on his face. I love that cover so much that that's that's the one.
That's the
And
Liana Kangas cover.
yeah, she absolutely does have a book coming out with IDW this week. I got Sunando C, who did I think he's the colorist on End After End. I just emailed him and I asked him if he could do a cover for Worlds Away #2. So he has a Worlds Away #2 cover, the next Kickstarter, hopefully in
Excellent,
October.
excellent.
That book looks incredible. I have no idea what it's about, but it looks incredible.
It's
It's really good.
it's gonna yeah. It's a really cool story so far. I can't wait to find out where they go with
Everything.
it from here.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks really good.
Also, just quietly, if you're ever looking for another cover for one of your Kickstarters,
Oh,
you can
hey,
you can holler
I
over here.
I get. I'm trying to do 3 covers um every issue, and I don't have anyone for except for the regular cover.
Yeah, yeah,
He'd be Christian, so hey, I'll hit you up, man. Absolutely, let's
yeah.
make
I'm
that
keen. I
happen.
really want to get some more covers going in the portfolio soon.
Absolutely, let's make that happen. Because October is for #2, and they say Christmas time, holiday season is like dead
Yeah,
time for
yeah,
Kickstarters. So maybe January, and we'll probably do something way before January, so it'll be ready for the Kickstarter in
yeah. Cool. So for
January
those
or
watching this episode right now, that means that Damien's Kickstarter is coming out like next week. We're recording this well in advance, but the Kickstarter is coming out in about. Let me just check the old calendar here.
either October 5th or October 12th.
Yeah, next week. So like it's either going to be next Wednesday or the the Wednesday after. Yeah, the Wednesday after.
I'm crossing my fingers and hoping for next week, October 5th.
Excellent. So yeah, definitely go and back the hell out of that because I'm really eager for the one that I've already backed. Maybe I've read it by this time the episode this comes
You
out.
will. You
So
will.
just
I'm
watch for a
literally
bubble
sending it
here.
out. I'm
Uh,
literally sending out the digital copies either tomorrow or on Wednesday. So
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so excited. I'm really excited about that. So if you haven't already read that, go and badger Damien on Twitter and find out where you can get a copy and then back the next one next week.
absolutely, cross your fingers for me, everyone.
But yeah, back to We Live. There's these bloody bracelets that they get. Like, like
Mhm.
they've humanity's already been through so much at this point. There's the mutations and climate disaster after climate disaster, and then suddenly these pods crash all over the world
Hmm.
and they get this message from an unknown alien species.
Yep. And like I was saying, it deals with some dark themes. There's a lot of moments of hope as well. But once a lot of the characters lose that hope, like when the things crash, when these characters face these monsters, some characters don't make it out. It's very heartbreaking at some points. There's a lot. I think issue number 4. I'm skipping ahead. Sorry, but there's a lot of uh, some gruesome. The whole book is very it's explicit, but there's some things that I didn't expect, especially dealing with this group of children trying to make it to the spaceship or trying to make it to the ship, and they end up crashing and they meet this group of people. um are we allowed to talk spoilers? Are we talking
Yeah, yeah. So
spoilers?
so if you haven't
Okay.
read the comic yet, yeah, go away, read it, come back, and then finish watching the episode so that we don't ruin anything for you because we're gonna get spoiler heavy now. Um, but yeah, yeah. If you haven't read it yet, it's a really good book. Hit pause, make a note where you're at, go and read it, come back later and watch the rest of the episode because it's very cool.
Yeah. So like I was saying, the first thing that I would say is to don't get too attached to any of these characters,
Yeah.
especially the character on the first page, because immediately the old man was my favorite character, and then
Right? Yeah, yeah. He looks really cool.
that's really cool. And then I think, do they kill him in the first issue or the second issue?
I can't
I think it's
remember. We'll find out very soon.
I think it's the first one though, but and he's on the cover and everything. He's on the if you didn't pick up the hard copy or the physical copy, it has this the front cover is a regular cover. You flip it open, it has like this panel like extra panels in it, and he's like right there. But like I said, don't get too attached to it
Yeah.
or any of the characters at all
Yeah,
because
look, honestly, like spoiler warning, like this isn't a big spoiler, but just a warning. Also don't get too like extra don't get too attached to them for the sequel.
okay.
They don't fuck around. They don't fuck around.
I promise you, that's the thing that I was hinting at. Um, I think in issue 4, the second to last issue in volume 1, like right before they get to their destination, after they meet the group of people at the end, the religion. I think they were like
Yeah.
very religious,
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
hyper religious group, and they were children. Like this is something I did not expect to see in this book, even though it's a book about children, you know,
Yeah.
trying to get to a certain area and to save humanity. But it deals with, like I said, it deals with some dark things. And a group of children, they make it to their destination, but their destination isn't exactly what they thought. And this group of hyper religious um, people, this group, they end up murdering a bunch of children, and it's not implied. It's explicitly shown. It's explicitly stated, and it's heart wrenching. It's a
Yeah.
gut punch a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
Those people fucked up.
Yes,
No, like
absolutely right.
like like they come
And
back. You find out more
uh,
about them.
in the
Yeah,
sequel,
that's all
yeah,
I'm gonna say. You find out more about them.
good. Okay, I wasn't. I was. That's something that I was thinking about as well. Because at the very end, we'll talk about this later on, or maybe in a second. The ending was kind of comes out of nowhere. It was like, what is this? But you get excited for it. But I was kind of hoping that those people come back because that's something that I wanted to
I kind of
see
forgot
more.
about them from the first
Mhm.
series, to be honest. And then you just put two and two together, like, oh, that's who they are.
Them? Oh yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about because these people, these hyper religious people, even though this is what 20 like our a false future 50, 60, 70, 80 years in the future, these people legitimately they might exist in our world today. These
Yeah,
are
pretty
people
much.
who and like they're designed after a specific kind of people that may exist. So it is scary, it is gut you get a bunch of gut punches, it is heart-wrenching, it is heartbreaking in a lot of points. But it's also, I don't want to scare you guys off if you're not into that, but it is an inspiring story. It is a story about a brother and a sister trying to. There's only Sean talked about the wristbands. Another thing about the story is that the children who are chosen to get on the ship to save humanity, they're given the wristbands. And a brother and a sister, there's only one of them. There's only one wristband between them. So the whole thing is about getting them both there, but they know that one of them may or may not
Make it onto the ship. Yeah, yeah. And yeah,
so,
obviously the sister puts it on the little brother.
mhm. It's
And
very anime. It looks very anime too. That's one of the things that I liked about it. It's very
yeah,
manga esque,
yeah.
and
I'm
you'll
I'm
see a lot of
loving
that.
the design of the little frill neck lizard that Hototo is chasing around at the
Yeah,
start of the book as well.
yeah. Do I wanted to ask you? I guess without getting too much into spoilers, is volume two? Is it about the same characters, or is it is there a time jump,
That's
or is it
there's a time jump, and that's why I'm telling you not to get too attached.
okay? Well,
But also be prepared for some wild surprises.
okay.
There's something really exciting that happens that you're probably not going to expect.
Well, they proved that to me at the whole thing. It's twist after twist, or it's left turn after left turn. But at the very, I guess we can talk about it a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
At the very end of volume one, I think it's issue 5, maybe issue 6. Um, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but there was this council of, was it an alien species
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah.
it was
Yep.
like a council who pretty much determines who are pretty much determining what will happen to this race of, well, to the human race, to the
Yeah.
people. And they chose to let them live. And I think which is very cool. You can see, I forgot the main character's name, the little boy.
Hototo.
He dressed Hototo. He dressed up as a superhero like the entire book, and you think nothing of it. If you read it, you're just thinking like he's a cute kid who
Yeah.
wanted to become a superhero. And then at the very end, this group of council of aliens or higher beings, they said, you know what? Let's give them a chance. And then those wrists, the bracelets, the ones who were given those bracelets, they actually got these crazy powers, and that's kind of where it leaves off.
Yeah.
And that's why I am so mad at myself that I missed the first 2 issues of We Live Volume 2, and now I got to pick up the trade. I don't hate trades, by the way. I just, I like my floppies.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I tend to get trades mostly because floppies are really expensive in Australia.
Yes. Oh, yes. Buying the single issue in America as well. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a
Uh,
very expensive hobby,
yeah.
but
Depending
I
on the
do.
publisher and like if it's a slightly thicker than usual book, it can be anywhere between $5 and $9 for a single
Mm.
floppy.
Oh, yeah. I do not envy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Whereas,
that's my thing.
yeah, I can pick up the trade for like $30.
What about the digital copies? Are those a little bit?
They're not too bad. They're usually between 2 and 7 because of the
Okay.
exchange rate. Depends on
Okay.
whether they've been localized or not.
See, I am running out of room for all my single issues, all my floppies. So I'm trying to get. Well, I've always read digital issues, but is there something? There's just something about, for
Yeah,
me. I'm old school. There's just something about having.
exactly. That's why I like to collect, especially if it's a friend's book, like these ones, I like to get
Mhm.
the proper copies.
Absolutely. But yeah, man. We live is shout out to Aftershock because they put out a lot of good stuff, and
They have. And
um,
like if the guys at Aftershock, like what they see and want to hook me up with a copy of the trade, I wouldn't
shout out
say
to them.
no.
And every time I went to Heroes Con in Charlotte. I live in Charlotte. The publisher, uh, he's like everyone at the Aftershock booth. They're just so friendly, so down to earth, and so humble. So shout out to them, man. They're good people, from what I can
Yeah,
tell.
I would love to see more publisher presence at Australian conventions. Like I know it's a hike, but
Mm-hmm.
come on. At, even if it's just one convention a year, I would love to see
Yeah.
more publisher presence. We
Are
only
there?
get individual creators, and even then, it's only a handful of international individual creators because like it's
Yeah,
expensive, so they've got to
it
make
is.
sure that they bring the draw cards.
Hmm. Are there? Is the I guess the convention conventions in Australia? Are they as big as they are in America, or are?
No, it's a whole like they're okay, but they're nothing compared to like SDCC. There's nothing that
Mhm.
big here.
Yeah,
We've
that's a
got
goal for me. I just
yeah,
want to go as a fan to
yeah.
just to just to go.
We've got Supernova and Oz Comic Con, and they're both pretty good. But
Yeah,
compared to like SDCC, NYCC, etc.,
yeah, that makes
they'd
sense.
probably fit into a corner, like a quarter of that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um.
The biggest thing we get is like a bit of a Marvel booth,
Mhm.
but that
Are they usually at the I guess bigger cities in
yeah,
Australia?
we get Comic Con goes to the capitals, pretty much just the capital city.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
I
like
mean,
in putting that in perspective as well, like it's wild that NYCC is like such a bigger convention than our conventions, and yet New York City would fit into the central business district of one of our capital cities.
interesting.
Like
That's
I looked on the map the other day at New York versus Melbourne, and New York fits in the
literally a
inner
bit.
city of Melbourne.
I've been to New York once, and everything is just so, you know, so packed. Like there's so many people. I've never seen so many people in
Yeah,
my
and
life.
that's what I figured is the main difference is like New York is like dense and high,
Yeah,
but
they build up.
I couldn't believe the size difference. Like I thought New York
Yeah.
would be because like a lot of people refer to Melbourne kind of as Australia's New York and or Sydney. Like Sydney and Melbourne both get that comparison, but
Hmm.
Melbourne is probably 10 times the size of New York. If you were just
Like
looking at
like
yeah,
geographically.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
including all like the outer suburbs of New York and everything too.
That's
It's
I
wild.
didn't realize that. I had no idea.
Yeah, neither did I. I was just someone asked me like the other day, and I was like, wild.
Australia is on my, I'm terrified of flying, especially terrified of flying over water. But it is on my bucket list. Maybe one day if I cross my fingers and I take a lot of sleep medicine on the plane, then I'll make it over. So we do have to collaborate. I'll definitely hit you up. I'm probably gonna send you a message like once we were talking before the show, everyone, that I'm buying me and my girlfriend are buying a condo right now. So after September, I'll have a little bit of money that I could commission and cover for Worlds Away #3. Just I'll probably send you something. I'll DM you later on tonight. Actually, you
But
do
when I
have
do,
the big hype volume 3 coming out. You have a
I
story with them,
yes,
right?
I can't wait for that. I'm so excited for
Yeah.
that.
And you saw how big volume 2 was.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
okay,
shout out to Doug, man. He has Ultramax with
yeah,
Source Point Press. It's really good.
yeah, yeah.
I remember that
Doug
was
is
on
pulling together some really cool stuff. It's really
and
cool.
he has
So
another book coming out as well that not sure if I don't know what it is, but he said he has a big project coming out with a
yeah, I saw that the other
publisher.
day. Yeah, he's got
So
something big coming. So
shout out to Doug.
yeah,
He's good people too, man.
yeah. If you're watching this, go check out Doug Wood on Twitter. And Jumpstart Comics, isn't it?
Jumpstart.
Yeah,
And he has Ultramax with Source Point Press out right now. I think it's 3 issues in. I think it's going to be a total of 4 or 5.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really good.
Awesome. Yeah, if you're a reader, go check out Doug. Get a copy of, if you can still get a digital copy of Project Big Hype 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
2 hasn't gone out to backers yet, I don't think. I think they're just finishing it off and it's about to go out to backers. But 1, I
So.
think you can buy digital copies still. And then get ready to back number 3 because as a reader. And then if you're a creator, go follow Doug so that you can get on board with volume 4. because
Mhm.
there's no doubt that there's going to be a four.
Yeah, absolutely. I I think that was back in March or February where he put out Big Hype Volume 3, like the guidelines and
Yeah, the
everything. And
submissions and stuff. Yeah, I
I put
my
something together real quick and crossed my fingers, and hey, we made it happen, my brother.
yeah my script is sitting there waiting to meet the editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited because the script that I pitched, well, the story that I pitched, is based off the story that I started writing in 2015, I think, when my partner finally is like, "Hey, you're not happy doing what you're doing. You should focus more on your drawing and your art and your comics. Those are the things that you've always wanted to do." And I was like, "Hey, you're right. I should start focusing on that stuff more instead of this bullshit that's making me really unhappy."
uh,
And I
that's
made
good,
this.
man. When you like when your art or when your stories come from a personal place, you know it's gonna be something good.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I started writing a story then, and then I was like, "Oh, this is spiraling into a bigger story than I thought it was going to be. You need to go on the shelf. I need to go and
Hmm.
write some short scripts so I can learn how to write a damn comic, and then come back to you."
Is that what happened? Is that the one that you're?
Well, it's a short story based off that book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Does it have the
10-page short.
potential? Does it
Yeah,
have the potential to like go off and be its own thing?
yeah, exactly. Because I wrote a treatment for the actual book, and that was when I
Hmm.
realized, like, oh, this isn't a one shot anymore. This is probably a trilogy of like trades about this thick.
Hmm.
Because I was trying to write maybe a 60-page ish OGN, and it just spiraled out. It's not like too big, but it spiraled out to be bigger than expected. And I'm like, I love what I've got here, but I need to learn how to write it properly so I can do it justice. So you go on the shelf. We'll do concept art and we'll do world building, and you go on the shelf for now, and then we'll come back to it. And so I pitched a story based off like the opening prologue that I wrote,
Hmm.
and that got accepted. And so that's why I'm so excited and grateful to be a part of
I'm
Volume
looking
3.
forward to it, man. I remember when the emails started coming out, and I think we were on the Band of Bards Discord,
Yeah,
and, and everyone was posting. And I think I saw you posted that you got in there, and then I posted I got in there, and I think I messaged you, but it was out like I was
it's
just incredibly.
it's my
It's,
first anthology that I got into with the pitches, so it's super exciting that that's what
yeah,
got me in.
it's a good feeling, man.
Yeah,
I literally like before this, you know, I didn't have anything published. Now I have a few things coming out. I had but it's a great feeling getting that email.
it really is. Do you have a title for yours?
For
For your big
oh,
hype?
for the good hype. It's actually something similar to yours. How it's the prologue. It started off as the prologue for a bigger story. It's called Reveria, the planet of Reveria. It's like this sci-fi fantasy story. It's
Yes,
really
same.
it's really my final. I'm huge into Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
I grew up in the 90s. I'm 31 years old. I grew up in 91. So I played Final Fantasy 7 in 1997, 98. Then Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9. So it's kind of my
Yeah, yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I think 8 and 9 was like the first ones I kind of touched because
Mhm.
I'm an '87 baby.
Yeah. Oh, we're millennials. We're
Yeah,
right there.
yeah,
Me and you're the same. You're the same age as my brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
not too far behind.
yeah, but yeah, like that era of video games, that era of like RPGs, that's definitely my jam, and that's a lot of what I like when I imagine a story. A lot of it is this sci-fi fantasy type stuff. There's dragons and machine guns and
Yeah,
swords and laser beams.
yeah. I get that. I think I just sort of had a realization. Mine's a little bit Dragon Ball Z-ish in the
Hmm.
world, in that like it's like future. There's lots of future tech, but also everything is a bit medieval.
You showed me some art from it.
I probably
I think
did pit
you sent me. I just do not remember it,
of
but I
the
remember
pug.
being from so impressed with it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta take a look. I
Yeah,
gotta take a look
it's
at
a
that.
Snuffles the Indomitable.
Yes, yeah, I do remember it now. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a science fantasy adventure story.
Yeah, so once we it for both of us is gonna be like kind of a prologue that'll branch out into
Yeah, I'm
more
gonna be
stuff.
able to use it to pitch the actual book then.
That'll be really cool. Let's make this happen, man.
Yeah,
Isn't it exciting just having all these different ideas and it coming to fruition? It's a very exciting thing.
it really
So
is.
everyone out there, if you're a creator, um, even if you'll see. I know it's cliche and it's but it's very true. Um, Getting denied or getting rejection emails, rejection letters for your pitches, that it is absolutely inevitable. It will happen, but don't let that. Again, I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds, um, that's what everyone says, but it's absolutely true. Do not let that deter you. Do not let that, um, I guess, make you feel a certain way. If you have the resources, if you have the funds, if you have all these things available for you, because I know not everyone is as lucky as I am to be in whatever financial situation that I'm in, or other creators are in. If you can make it happen, I would say at least give it a shot.
Yeah,
If
a
it's
hundred
something,
percent. And like while we're on that topic as well, like if you need a hand with stuff like that, go check out Matt Garvey on YouTube
Mhm.
with Matt's how to comics videos. Um, have a look at the golden ratio of comics article that Bijan Kodabande put out. He put it out years ago, but I used the guide that he included in that article religiously in my art.
Can you give me a too long didn't read for like a very brief
It's
golden ratio
basically a
summary? That sounds
breakdown
interesting.
of how to apply like the golden ratio diagrams and stuff to comics, and he included a diagram of a standard size comic page with a golden ratio guidelines built into it in blue so that you can use that as long as a piece of your art is touching one of those lines, your composition is going to turn out real smick.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to improve.
I
So
love it. I use it almost religiously, and since I started using it,
that's
my art has improved. Like my compositional stuff has improved so much.
that's dope. I need to
It's
check that out.
yeah. And I don't have it handy. It's in the other room, but there's another book called The Drawing Cheat Codes by Mike Hawthorne,
I know
and
Mike. I've heard Mike.
it's it's wordless, which is great. I love it. It's just diagrams, which works really good for my ADHD, but it's really really good diagrams that break down figure drawing proportions and stuff in very simple, easy to understand looking at one picture
Oh man, I didn't know
versus
these.
yeah, versus a lot of anatomy books which are like really detailed diagrams and then a lot of text and stuff.
It can be a lot. It can be very daunting
Yeah.
and overwhelming.
Um
Yeah.
this poster that you can only just see up here is actually a little figure guideline quick reference that he included in that book. Um it's very very good, it's very handy, and it's not very expensive. I got it from the Kickstarter. He does it in digital and physical. The physical book is about this big.
Okay.
But those are three resources that I really recommend if you want to get started having a crack at making comics.
hmm
Also,
And
for character design for writers, check the fuck out Hero Forge. If you play D&D, you already know Hero Forge, but it's a custom mini making software. Like it's just a web app. You can just go on and make custom minis, download the STLs, or order them 3D printed from Hero Forge and stuff.
that man.
But whenever I'm trying to brainstorm a new character, I'll just fire up Hero Forge and bash something together that gives me the right vibe, and then I'll draw the actual character.
Interesting. I didn't know that. And again, creators like there are so many people out there like Sean, who are willing to help. So please, 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 even if you want to, if it's if it's on your bucket list, if it's just something you want to give it a shot. There are so many great people out there who are willing to help. Sean,
Yeah.
I reached out to Jared Lujan, all these different people who are just this pocket of indie comic creators that we're a part of. They're so welcoming, so accepting, and like I said, they're just very willing to help. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to put yourself out there. There's a lot of
Exactly
good
that.
people.
Like, I'll link the things that we just talked about in the description, but like, come and join the Discord. Damien's in there. It's like, it's not
Mhm.
the most pumping Discord in the world at the moment, but the people
I'm a
that are,
lurker. I
yeah,
lurk.
but the people that are in there are really, really good. The conversations are good, and there are channels for resources. Like, I've got
Mhm.
channels for all kinds of resources, and you can show me your pets, you can show me your plants, you can tell me about the video games you're playing, and we'll all chat. But I will always post all of these cool comic book making things that I find in there. So if you want to give it a crack, there's
If
that.
yeah, if you're just a lurker like I am, because I go on and see what's happening. I may or may not post, but yeah, I'm in there.
Yeah. Also,
Just again, don't be afraid to reach out. There's a lot of great people out there.
exactly, exactly. Um, Also, before we get too close to the end of the episode and stuff, obviously we haven't got that far through showing people the book, but we have talked about the book a lot. It's fine. I always say to everyone, like, the book is here to facilitate the conversation. The
Mhm.
love for the craft is the point of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand.
And
That's great.
yeah, like, sometimes we love, like, there was one episode, I think we probably only spent a full on 25 minutes actually dissecting the book, and then the conversation spiraled into a lot of other things. I think that was the episode with Grant Stoy, actually, because we just got to talking about so many things about making comics and the industry and stuff like that, because the book inspired those things.
That's great, man. Because the book brings so many different books, but especially We Live. It's crazy how we went from talking about We Live to just it gradually, organically coming into helping creators out, because that's a great way to put your show together. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I love. I love the show to be able to show more love to these cool indie books that people might not know about,
Mm-hmm.
but also, like, oh God, I think it's been a few episodes since I mentioned this. I got a streak. I mention this almost every episode, is that, like, this show has helped me as a creator, because hearing everything that all of the different creators have to say about the craft and how they approach things and the resources they use and stuff, I learned so much. So if
Yeah.
anyone watching this show can learn the things that I'm learning from my
Mm-hmm.
guests, then that's what I'm here for. I want to help people love comics more.
You're a good dude, man. You're a very, very good dude. Shout out to Sean, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all give Sean claps in the chat.
um, it's a shame that this comic reader doesn't work the way that I like, though, because there's the one page here that I really want to show and I can't do it because it's on the right-hand side.
Which one is that?
It's the one where, let me find his name. Humbo first turns up on the bus.
Issue number 1.
Yeah, issue number 1, where Humbo and Alice get on the bus. And he's got his big furry collar and his little green hat, and Alice has got the big trench coat and the
Oh
helmet
yeah,
thing
yeah, I
on.
see. I'm looking at it now. See, these characters. That's what I said. Like, and We Live. Again, I can't say it enough. It deals with some dark things. A lot of times it's very humbling. A lot of times it's very, there's a lot of gut punches. But it's even with all of that, it's a very colorful book. The contrast between what's going on in the story and how colorful literally colorful these characters are. It's crazy, but that's just a part of the appeal to the book. That's just how the Miranda brothers crafted it. It's
Right?
really good.
Yeah. And I love how Humbo's still got the little lizard. Sorry, Hototo's got the little lizard still.
Oh
Because he
yeah,
thinks it's lucky, but then Alice is just like staring at him and he's like, it brings you luck.
and then like 4 or 5 pages later, it's complete chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just showing everyone now. We've got this page where they're traveling through the leftover city, and Hototo's peacefully sleeping on the bus. I love that helmet, by the way. I love his helmet. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's another thing that we were talking about. A lot of it is foreshadowing. Like the whole time he has this helmet, didn't think anything of it, just a cute little kid who wanted to be a superhero. But at the very end, again, he's able to become one.
Right? And they don't lose the helmet.
They surely doesn't.
No, no, like he still owns it. After the
It's
time skip, he still owns it.
he still has it. How
Yeah.
much of it is it a spoiler to tell how much time has passed?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's been a couple years,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't tell you whether it's like 2 or 5 or.
They did a very very cool thing. I think it was like a zero issue. Before the main one started, there was like a black issue and a
Oh
white
yeah,
issue
yeah.
that was the same. It was the same story. It was literally the same story. I didn't get it. I should have gotten it. Hopefully, it'll be in the trade. But there was just imagine this. Imagine this, and there's a black cover with a black kind of character, not like a black, I guess, a Power Ranger character or whatever.
Mm,
And there's another cover or another issue. It's the same story, just from two sides of the from the story. And I wouldn't say it's not the same story because it's like literally on opposite ends of
yeah.
it. So they
The
happen
same series of
simultaneously.
events.
Yeah, they happen simultaneously at the same time, but they came out on the same week too. So that was very interesting that they did that.
Yeah, that was cool.
But they play around with the format of comic books a lot in this, with the QR codes, with the music, with um,
Yeah, it's a really really interesting way to do the book. And
mhm,
before, just in case we run out of time, I'd want to give a big shout, especially to Dave Sharp. His lettering on this looks
mhm,
just perfect, but also especially to Eve Dela Cruz, the coloring on this book is
absolutely.
immaculate.
Yeah, and a lot of times, we probably say it a lot, but a lot of times the letters and the colorists, they don't get. Um,
Exactly, and that's why I always try to make sure that I give them some love on this because they don't get enough. And yeah, like I think I say this probably pretty much every episode as well, but like good lettering, I personally think you don't notice on the first read through.
mhm.
You might notice the logo design and the effects boxes and stuff on the first read through, but the general lettering, for me, I think that good lettering you don't notice on the first read through, not because it's invisible or unimportant, but because it's such a seamless blend and pulls you into the story you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
And then I'll go back and read through it, and then I'll notice all the cool things
Notice
that
the little things. Yeah,
all the
that's
cool.
why I was gonna say, like, they are underappreciated. The letters are very underappreciated, and it's really, the letter is good when you don't notice them. But it'll be really quick if your
Yeah,
letter is not great.
if the
That's one of
lettering
the
does not work for this book, you will
that's one of
notice
the
it
first things that you'll
very
notice.
fast. Like just a little
Absolutely.
thing that I'm noticing here, which I don't know if this was Dave or Ava's choice, is that during the conversation
Hmm.
between like the sort of military-ish looking guard and the bus driver, they've got ever so slightly different colored speech bubbles
Take a look.
where they pull into Cormac's fuel and coffee.
Oh, yep, they surely do.
Just one's
It's very subtle.
Yeah, one's bright white and one's just slightly off white there to indicate different voices, and
That's
that's really cool.
but yeah. If Here's some unsolicited advice as well. If you're a creator, put your letterer on your cover. Put your letterer on your
Yes,
cover.
yes, I like everyone goes on the cover for me.
Absolutely, the writer, artist, inker. If you have an inker, if they're different, colorist, and then the letterer. Because,
Hmm.
like I said, it's if your letterer is not great, or if they're still learning, or if they're still developing rather, then it's it'll be very quick to notice if something's
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Because yeah, like lettering that doesn't work, not even necessarily bad, but lettering that
Hmm.
doesn't work with the art and the story and the visuals of your book will pull you out of the immersion. You'll
Absolutely.
notice it. You'll feel it.
Hmm.
So for
Shout out to Reed Hinkley Barnes, by the way, who did the. He does a lot of things. He does a lot of lettering for indie creators. He did stuff for Red Sea Comics, Chris Moses. He did it for Worlds Away from My Story.
nice.
But he also has. He's usually a letterer. Most of his work is lettering, but he also has a story in Big Hype Volume 3 that he was telling me about. So shout out to Reed. He's a
Yeah, that's
really,
cool.
really,
That's
really
cool.
great guy.
I've got a few other mates of mine. I can't remember everyone off the top of my head. All got in, so I'm really excited for Volume
I'm
3.
excited about it, man. I'm so excited to be a
Yeah,
part of it. You know, it's cool that we're on the number three. There's something about the third
yeah,
in there.
yeah. It's like they've. I feel like every issue has been stellar, but I feel
Hmm.
like with these sort of things that like by the third one, they really hit their stride. They've had
Yeah.
two previous volumes to iron out a lot of stuff, and then Volume
And
3, bang, 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 bang.
from what you've been telling me about the names attached to it, this one's going to be bigger than the previous two.
Like
Cool
that's why
thought.
I was so excited about being in this. I got one page. It's a one page. I don't give a shit. I have
Just to be part of it.
I have art printed in a hardcover book.
Hmm.
My name's on the cover. Like that's
That's a,
childhood Sean's dream realized.
that's a great
But
feeling, man.
but also Liana Kankas is in that book. Simone Ragazzoni from the Power Rangers books is in that book.
Really?
Yeah. If you haven't read it, go pick up a copy from Frankie. I think you can get it from Dauntless, obviously. I think Frankie's still got some of the hardcover ones though.
Hmm.
And there's obviously the digital version you can get from Frankie's Gumroad, I think still. Simone's pages are incredible. It got like
I need
some of the action scene pages between the fights between the two mechs,
I
and
need to take a look at that, man.
so good.
Shout out, shout out to you, man. I can't. I'm gonna hit up Frankie for that or
Yeah,
Dauntless
it's
Marcus.
it's very cool. It's very cool. And the colored pages that we did get, Liana colored their own stuff, and AHG did a few colored pages in there. They didn't
I've
quite
worked
hit
with
the stretch goal to color the entire book, but the pages that are colored, so
mhm.
cool.
AHG. He did eat my flesh, drink my blood. Right?
And Broken Bear.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
team of Adam on pencils and inks and AHG on colors is
Hmm.
stellar because it's the same art team for both books.
Ah, that's yeah. They're really so talented. I wish. Hopefully, cross your fingers, everyone. I mean, maybe one day I'll be lucky enough to work with them. I
Well,
might just
yeah,
might just put out crowdfund a book just so I can do something with them.
yeah, right, right. Well, that's it. I'm not sure if you had a chance to read it yet, but the webtoon that I just put out is with Adam.
Oh no, I haven't
Yeah,
seen it yet.
so Adam did the art on these two, and Adam did the art for my webtoon, and then I colored it.
I need to take a look at that.
And he did such a good job. Like we went from dodgy concept art of a D&D monster that I hadn't had a chance to draw a full design of to
Uh-huh.
Adam's version of that monster to
And that
hey, let's make this a little more animalistic because I want it to be a combination of these animals that live in the Brisbane River. And then holy shit,
killed it.
the final design he came up with is
Did you
it's so
have you
good.
ever like I guess you commissioned something like a piece of art or and then like they give you the art back and you're like, that's it. That's absolutely don't do anything else. That was that it?
Right? Pretty much, yeah. Like the first version, I'm like, holy shit, this is even better than my concept art that I could have realized. And I was like, oh hey, can we just tweak these couple of things a little bit because I want to add some fins on to make sure that it looks like it's part eel.
Hmm.
And you've already got the gecko feet going on a bit, but I want to have more eyes and asymmetric. And then the thing that he sent me back was just
That's again, that's another great feeling.
it is
It's a great,
he did a bonus pinup of just the
mhm.
monster stepping out of the shadows, and I'm in the process of coloring that at the moment, and I can't wait to put
Oh,
Can't
You
wait
gotta
to
say
put
you're
that
gonna
out.
have to share that as soon as possible, please.
Yeah,
It's so dope that we get so hyped about art. Look,
right.
that's
And
how you know we're creators, man.
yeah, a core thing that I also want to make sure that we mention about the art in this book before we get off the call, because I know that you've only got so much time,
Mm.
is the fucking lighting. Ava's coloring, the way that they draw glowing stuff
Mm-hmm.
in this whole book is just
It's
delightful. It makes me
there.
so happy
It,
just flicking through the pages looking for all the glowing bits.
like the lion, the mutated lion thing that has like, I don't know, little tentacle orbs that glow. It's
Yes.
the eyes all glow. It's I don't know. I just if I'm it's so good. Yeah, I can't say it enough. It's just a good book. And I am mad at myself for not jumping on board for volume 2, but I'm gonna get it.
Mm.
I'm absolutely gonna get
And
it.
it's just some of the creatures that they have. Like, I've got the page up right now where the weird tree zombies first turn up,
Oh
the
yeah.
molders. And then, yeah, that poor little girl gets bitten by one, and they have to
Yep.
do what you have to do with zombies.
I'm telling you guys, it's again, the themes are crazy, but it's just it's impressive how like the colors, like you were talking about. A lot of times they glow, they're bright, they stand out,
Yeah,
but it contrasts with the things that's happening in the book.
yeah,
Children are losing their lives, people are losing their lives. It's this nearly post-apocalyptic world, and it just works. It absolutely works.
right. I love how Humbo fixes Hototo's helmet for him as well. And like, it turns out it's actually a really advanced like AR gaming system.
It's that the helmet is incredible, man.
Yeah, like,
Super attuned.
right, like this samurai panda mode.
It's a cute book too, man.
It is
The
like it is.
characters.
It's like it deals with some real stuff and some dark stuff,
Mhm.
but it also is just a really sweet and cute book.
And it's like it's just a brother and sister. They're trying to, trying to do the right thing, trying to make it so that the Hototo makes it. Um, but it ends. Well, I don't. I haven't obviously I haven't read volume 2 yet, but it ends on a pretty good note.
Right? Yep.
But again, you're the what from what you've told me, you tell me not to get attached. So I'm gonna go. Now I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried about it.
Yeah,
But
I'm not going to tell you too much, but yeah, don't get too attached to
that's good
everyone.
storytelling. That's good characterization. If when you feel something or you're upset about a character, you won't see a character anymore. So
Yeah,
you know,
and that's it. Like, I have to wait and find out in the next couple of issues if what I think just happened truly did just happen, or if they're faking me out.
well, knowing this world, it probably happened.
Yeah, but also knowing this world, they could be fucking with me. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
there is something that happens in volume 2 that I was like, I thought, what? And oh, like, it was like the first part was a genuine surprise, but
Mhm.
then the next bit was like,
I'm gonna see if my comic book store. I doubt it because it was a few months ago when issue number 1 or volume 2 number 1 came out. I'm gonna have to see if they have because I the way that you're describing it, it seems like I missed out. I
oh
missed
yeah,
out
like
on.
there's some cool shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's some really cool shit. New tech that we haven't seen in this world yet.
Say what?
There's some new tech stuff that we haven't seen in this world yet.
Oh, oh
Um,
man.
New threats that we haven't really seen yet.
Oh man. I know it's gonna be heartbreaking. Oh no.
Yeah,
Like
and yeah,
there were
some
points in
very
volume 1 that I was like, let me put this book down and I'll come to it in an hour or so because I wasn't ready. Especially at the end with the children and that group of super religious people. I'm like, ooh.
ooh, yeah, that was rough. That I was like,
You say they
oh,
don't
they
fuck.
went there. They did that.
Yeah, they don't fuck around, man. But it is that again. That's a sign of good storytelling when you're like you're not afraid to take those risks, or you're not afraid to, because some people, and it's nothing, it's not inherently a bad thing who won't cross that line, but um, the Miranda brothers, they do it so well that it is a part of the story, and they execute it very well. That, like, what, this is something that can happen in this world.
Exactly. Exactly. And I've got it worked out well that I do actually have the last page of issue 1 up on the screen. So that part
You
of
do.
the issue finished. And I'm actually going to, just for a few seconds, but this is the song that's on the page for those that are looking at it in that QR code. I'm not going to play the whole thing because, copyright and all that.
Is this on the last page? I will follow you.
And it's like a little animated video of Potato and his sister.
And then the first one, because the very first page of the issue, there's a QR code as well of the old man. Spoiler alert: he doesn't make it out of the first issue, I don't think. But it's something similar as well, where there's the cigarette smoke is
Yeah.
flying around. And it's a really cool book. It's it's a really cool book. You guys gotta, I would highly recommend checking it out. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and reread the series with the soundtrack now as well.
Music, yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the things that kept me coming back.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's really cool.
Curious to see if Volume 2 or Age of the Palladiums, if they have that as well. I'm
Yeah.
sure they do.
I'm going to
It's
have
such
to have a look because, like, I didn't notice it the first time because I wasn't paying enough attention. So
that's one of the things that I mean, is it's just a cool way to make your book really, really, really interesting. Shout
it
out
is.
to
It really is. I wish I'd gotten a chance to show people what Alice looks like, but she doesn't make a full appearance in this first issue. Like
Uh-huh.
like full Alice
Yeah.
outside of the costume. But
Yeah, she's covered up.
yeah.
She's definitely covered up. But it's a good reveal though. It's really cool.
It is. It was really, really cool. Um and yeah, Alice and Humbo's relationship was really cool and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do they make an appearance in Volume 2? Okay, well, there you go. Not saying yes, not saying no. Gotcha. I gotcha.
You'll have to read it.
That's gonna happen regardless. So
Yeah,
I'm ready.
you're
I'm
gonna
ready
like
for my
it.
heart. I'm ready for my heart to be broken.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's so exciting and intense.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Me
Looking
too.
forward to Big Hype Volume 3 too, my
Heck
brother.
yeah. So it's approaching the hour, and I know you're gonna have to bail in a minute. So what have you got that is out or coming out, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Becton. And my Twitter is, I'm a little bit more, I'm pretty active on both, but you can probably check my Twitter a little bit more often. It is at Damien Becton. I do have Worlds Away at the time that you guys will watch this. It'll be on Global Comics. I think we were talking, I don't know, were we talking about Global Comics on air?
Yeah, well, oh yeah,
Um,
it's in the like front end and back end of the credits, but yeah, big shout to Global Comics who are
Shout out to
now
Global
sort of
Comics.
sponsoring the show. And don't forget to go and check out this week's giveaway for a free month of Global Comics in the description
Mhm.
below. And also, if you want to keep going after that month, if you win it or if you don't win it, also check the description below for the $2 subscription link to get a nice discount on your Global Comics subscription. For any comics that we're talking about on the show that are hosted on Global Comics, we will be using Global Comics to read them from now on. I will only be using any other reader if that comic just isn't on there yet. So big shout to Global Comics for supporting creators. And yeah, make sure you check for this week's giveaway. That'll get drawn next Monday. So
Yeah, I'm just a huge fan of Global Comics. I love everything that they're doing. But Worlds Away will be on there. Didn't know about all of that. But I fully encourage you guys to just what Sean said. You know, Global Comics is, I think they're on the up and up, and Worlds Away will be on there at the time you guys are watching this. Worlds Away #1 will be on Global Comics. Worlds Away #2 will be on Kickstarter next week on October 5th. If it's not on October 5th, then it'll be on October 12th. But yeah, so Worlds Away #1 on Global Comics right now. Or if you want to get the digital issue from the Kickstarter next week, it'll be available there as well. And yeah, look out for my Mad Cave Studios book in 2023.
yes, I'm excited to see that announcement and find out what's happening there.
I will cry once I see my name in previews. I will there.
Yeah,
I will be crying so
I get
hard.
that. I get that. Excellent. Well, I'm going to link those social media profiles for Damien in the comments below for those of you that want to go and check out his work, which I highly recommend doing. Also, if you are enjoying the show, please remember to like, subscribe, share, that sort of thing. Help us get more views. And if you want to help me to keep making this show and make this show better and to keep making comics, consider jumping on Patreon or Ko-fi. The links to those are in the description below. My Patreon, I do have like a $1 or $2 I just want to help tier, but the good stuff starts at $5 Australian, which is like $3.50 American. So consider subscribing to Patreon, because as soon as I hit that 120, 150 Aussie dollars mark, I can start paying the collaborators that I have eyed off for specific comics. I've got scripts, and I have creators that I want to work on for those. I'm going to draw some of them myself, but I have specific creators lined up for specific stories that are just right. And I can't make those stories until I can afford their rates. Help me entertain you. And of course, go follow Damien everywhere you can. Thank you for your time, Damien. It's been really fun having you on the show and chatting about this really cool book and just about making comics in general.
Yeah, man, it was a blast. I know we kind of, went back and forth between We Live and just creating, but it was absolutely fun. I enjoyed.
I absolutely love how much, like, the comics are here to facilitate the conversation. I always want to make sure that we heap a lot of love on the book. But if the conversation goes towards the industry in general and how we can help more people make cool stuff, I am down with that. It is fine by me.
Absolutely.
So
thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you even considering me having me on this
of course,
show.
I've been eyeing you off as a guest for a while. So once I realized that I had a free slot this season, I was like,
I appreciate that, man. I've seen all the names that you've had on your show. I'm like, you want me?
I want everyone. I want everyone. I have been mind blown by some of the people that have said yes to coming on this show. And it is just always a gift to me, whoever comes on, no matter how many books they've put out, no matter how long they've been in the industry. Yeah. But to have some of like my personal like idols for, like not idols necessarily, but people I look up to for their work and the inspirations to say yes to coming on this show.
Hey man, that's dope. Hey, I promise you, you're doing great work, and like, just thank you for having this avenue for creators to talk. You're doing great things, and I promise you, I'm sure I'm echoing everyone else, but we appreciate what you're doing, brother.
I really love it. I love making this show, and seriously, if you are a comic book creator, an editor, or a comics journalist that wants to come on the show, head to my website, which is linked down below, go to the contact form and click on the No Capes shortlist form and just put your name in the hat, because that's going to make it easier for me to cast season 4 and 5 if I have a ready to go list instead of having to cold email people. I would much prefer not to have to cold email people if I can avoid it. So if you're interested in coming on the show, especially marginalized creators are super encouraged to apply. I can throw a rock and I can throw a rock and hit people that are exactly like me. I really want to talk to other people and shout out more diverse voices and lift up people who might not necessarily get as much attention on podcasts and interviews and all that sort of stuff. So if you are any kind of a marginalized creator, you are welcome here in this space, and I want to hear from you. So head to that website, hit that contact form, let me know you want to come on the show, and let's make a plan.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
So until next week, this has been No Capes, the show where we talk about creator-owned comics with creators who own comics. This has been Damien Becton. I have been Sean Sunday. But thank you for watching, and tune in next week, and make sure you go and hit that Kickstarter link for Damien's comic. Next week or the week after. One of the two. Go do it. It's going to be really cool. I promise you.
I appreciate it, my dear brother. You guys have a good one. Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
See you next week.
Appreciate you.